Time is 7 p.m. I'm going to call to order the regular meeting of the Lansing City Council for July 28th, 2025. Clerk Swope, could you please do the roll?
Certainly. Councilmember Brown.
Present.
Councilmember Carter.
Here.
Councilmember Garza.
Here.
Councilmember Hussein. Here. Councilmember Jackson. Councilmember Cost.
Here.
Councilmember Pelivanoglu. Councilmember Spatafor. There are 7 members present at quorum. Councilmember Jackson is absent. And we are to the meditation and pledge of allegiance.
Is there anyone that would like to be remembered tonight? Vice President Carter.
Yes, I would like to remember Kenneth Robertson. He was a well-known Lansing musician who has fought a long battle, but I just want to give condolences to his family and his friends and all those who that he had touched over the many years in the music field of churches and other community events.
Thank you.
Thank you. If we could please remember Cindy Huffnagel-Fontus, who is a previous employee of our district court, who passed away recently. Thank you.
Thank you, Clerk Swoop. Anyone else? Can we please rise for a moment of meditation followed by the pledge? Thank you. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have for approval the proceedings of July 14th.
Vice President Carter.
I make a motion to approve the July 14th minutes as presented.
Okay, proper motion in place. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
We are to special ceremonies and presentations. We have the appointment of Cambriana Crank as a member of the Lansing Gateway Corridor Improvement Authority.
Is Cambriana here? Okay, if you want to come on down, Councilman Hussein.
Sure. So we actually had Ms. Cambriana Crank in the DMP on July 23rd, so it was actually last week. Learned quite a bit about Ms. Crank. There were a few of us that were familiar with her, particularly her work with the Lansing Economic Area Partnership some time ago. But in any event, we did learn quite a bit. One, knew that she had extensive background in economic development and planning. Again, as I said, former employee of LEAP, but currently works in program management and technical assistance at the International Economic Development Council. In addition to some of her professional background, she talked about, because this is for a resident member of this particular authority, she talked about living adjacent to this corridor, the importance of the corridor, and some of the things that she'd like to see on that corridor. Walkability, bikeability were kind of underscored. She actually had taken it upon herself to do kind of an inventory of all of the vacant property, and I think we were given a number of 47 vacant properties on the corridor. Certainly wants to address that, and we certainly thought with her background in economic development and planning and some of her work with LEAP, where she actually helped to manage authorities. And I think at that time, I think 3 of the 4 had been established. I don't think this one had been established at that point, but did help. And so we thought certainly uniquely qualified. She was asked if she had the requisite time. She said she absolutely does. And she is more than willing, actually, she's wanting to engage the public in her work. So we emphatically supported unanimously out of committee. So with that being said, I'd move the resolution.
Okay, proper motion in place. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Congratulations. Not so fast.
Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the duties
of the office
in the office of
Lansing Gateway Corridor Improvement Authority Board of Directors,
Lansing Gateway Corridor Improvement Authority,
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you.
And while we're signing, we are to the appointment of Stephen Robinson to the Board of Zoning and Appeals.
Mr. Robinson, are you here? Perfect. Councilmember Hussein?
More importantly, did you email the name of that cent to President Goss, sir?
Yes, he did.
All right, okay. So I guess we can continue now. This one's special for me. I've known Stephen for about 10 years now. Incredible person, native of Lansing, and truly an advocate, I think, for all things in this community. With that being said, he is currently a real estate investor and developer of both residential and commercial property. He discussed in committee that he's interested in this particular board because he uniquely understands the importance of zoning to supporting and building strong, and I think his words were self-reliant communities, which I really appreciated. As a professional in the real estate industry, he also discussed the importance of zoning decisions on everyday people when it comes to residential properties, neighborhoods, and businesses. And he really kind of, I think, demonstrated a desire to bring a thoughtful, community-minded voice to the board. He, again, was asked whether or not he had the time. He said absolutely. Not only does he have a willingness to engage the public, he's been doing that consistently throughout the year, so we know that he will continue along those lanes. So in any event, very, very happy to move the appointment for Stephen Robertson as an at-large member of the Board of Zoning Appeals for a term to expire June 30th, 2026.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Congratulations.
And repeat after me. I do solemnly swear
I do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and the Constitution of the State of Michigan,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and I will faithfully discharge the
of
duties
the office of Board of Zoning Appeals member
of the Office of Board of Zoning Appeals member
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
All right, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Just step right forward and sign. And we are to comments by council members and the clerk.
Okay, do we have any comments by council members? Okay, seeing no takers, we will move on to community event announcements. If someone has an event, now is the time to come up, and if you could state your name for the record, and you'll have 1 minute.
Loretta Stanaway, Friends of Lansing's Historic Cemeteries, and it's that time of year again. We're getting ready to host our annual Service of Remembrance in Mount Hope Cemetery on Sunday, August 24th at 3 p.m. This is a service that's for all those persons who have lost a loved one in the last year, and those loved ones are buried in one of the 3 city cemeteries, Evergreen, Mount Hope, or North. So again, it's open for those persons, and it's at 3 o'clock Sunday, the 24th, in Mount Hope Cemetery's Fratcher Memorial Garden. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other community event announcements?
Good evening. My name is Lisa Benjamin. I'm representing Pilgrim Rest Baptist Church under our Bishop Rocket, and I would like to invite you in the committee as well as the public to Pilgrim Fest. This is going to be held on next Saturday. We're going to be giving away free clothes and shoes, backpacks and school supplies, health screenings, free haircuts from local barbers. We're going to have a prayer tent, free bounce house and children game zone, free video game, truck and basketball, free live music.
Sorry.
Okay, free live music and an entertainment. We're going to also have food truck vendors and community vendors. And I want to thank Mayor Andy Shore for supporting it last year. He's also going to come out this year. And I want to thank Vice President Carter for your donations of last week. All right. Any questions, you can visit our Facebook page at Pilgrim Fest 2025. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Natasha Atkinson, and I am here representing the Lansing branch of the NAACP. And we would like to invite all the community and all of our council members to our mayoral candidate forum that'll be occurring tomorrow from 7 to 9 at Union Missionary Baptist Church. That's 500 South MLK. We'll be there from 7 to 9 with some refreshments and some robust community conversations. There will also be an opportunity for the attendees to ask candidates questions. So we're looking forward to having the community join us and impactful community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello, I am Nicholas Zandy, the president of the Old Everett Neighborhood Association, and coming up this coming Sunday is on August 3rd will be our first in a long time community picnic at on South Washington Avenue at the Stabnow Park, formerly known as Washington Park, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. You're allowed to bring any food to it as long as it's non-alcoholic, and you're allowed to bring any game to it as long as it's family friendly. And I'm sure we'll have plenty of people there. And also the day prior, we will be going shopping for the food. So don't worry, we'll probably have some food prior to that. And hope to see you all there.
Thank you. Any other community event announcements? Okay. Then we will move on to speaker registration for public comment on legislative matters. Legislative matters includes items 5 through 19 on the agenda tonight. So if you wish to speak, you'll need to sign in the back with Meglin in the next minute or so. And in the meantime, we are to the mayor's comments.
Mayor Shore.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just want to recognize a few events and things that happened in our city. I want to thank Advanced Peace. They had a great picnic yesterday, just celebrating all the work that's being done within our city. And I understand they gave food over at Benjamin Davis Park to anyone that showed up. So thanks for the Advanced Peace folks for doing that. We had a great Tacos and Tequila Fest downtown on Saturday. Same with the Car Capital Auto Show. Had just a ton of folks over by Ari Olds, and it was great. Thank you to the West Side Neighborhood Organization, who had a lot of fun on their island party on one of the islands over on the West Side. Just as a reminder, August 1st, I believe, is the Citizen Academy deadline, so anybody who wants to apply for the Citizen Academy, please do so by August 1st. I am proud to mention, I have not mentioned this yet, we have a new staffer in our Office of Neighborhood Safety. Our Violence Prevention Coordinator is Akedra Abrams. So I want to congratulate her for that position. I believe it's a position that council created and I supported about a year ago. And after a long process, we have the right person. So that is exciting. So for anyone to know and contact her as needed. We have a wonderful Habitat for Humanity groundbreaking this week. We'll have 2 new houses. We'll have our concerts at the park, at Wilson Park over on the west side. Jazz Fest is this weekend, and I'm looking forward to that. We're going to have Moneyball 3-on-3 this weekend, just like the old Gus Macker days. So thanks to Des Ferguson for bringing that back downtown. And I am really excited that Mount Hope Elementary School will have its grand opening next week. My kids went there, and certainly sad to see the old one come down, but I'm really excited to see the new one go up, and for all the great things that are going to happen at Mount Hope Elementary School. So lots going on in Lansing. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, and Mr. President, if you don't mind, I do want to just make a quick announcement that we are about 10 days from the election, actually 8 days from the election, and we have gotten 1/3 of the absentee ballots back. So there are many thousands of folks out there with an absentee ballot left to return. The time is getting short, so please use one of our drop boxes or get it in the mail very soon. We do have to have it back by 8 o'clock Election Day in order for it to count. All right, so we are to public comment on legislative matters, and that includes 4 scheduled public hearings. Item 5 is a noise special permit for rehabilitating Pleasant Grove Road from Homes to Mount Hope. Item 6 is a noise special permit for CSO work on North Larch Street. And item 7 is Brownfield Plan number 80, mixed-use development at 2130 West Holmes Road. And item 8 is the Chapter 206 to clarify the most responsive and responsible bidder for construction bids.
Okay. Councilmember Brown, I've got you for 5 and 6 if you want to just do both.
Thank you. Yep, we have the scheduled public hearing for the noise waiver from the Department of Public Service to allow for the rehabilitation on Pleasant Grove Road and Homes to Mount Hope Avenue. Mr. Cook noted the designs were brought forward a year ago to rehabilitate the area. A public meeting was held April 2025. Residents requested additional time to provide input that was given. The project is out to bid now. They expect 10 to 12 weeks. Construction anticipate any rain delays. Mr. Scott said that the public comment was to retain what is there with one lane each way with bike lanes and parking on both sides. Primary focus was the layout, and their concerns was not losing the on-street parking. Then we also have, excuse me, the CSO project at 1038 North Larch. Filed by the City Department of Public Service and Board of Water and Light for Saturdays 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. for periods of August 16th, 2025 through November 22nd, 2025.
Okay, thank you.
You're
Then we have Councilmember Hussein.
Sure. So this deals with Brownfield Plan number 80, Amendment number 1. So as the title speaks to, what we're actually looking at is a proposed amendment to an existing brownfield plan that was passed actually a few years ago. The developer in this case is Homes in Pleasant Grove LLC, with the principal developer being Brent Forsberg. The purpose of the brownfield amendment is to do a few things. Number 1, update the definition of eligible property. 2, update the development plans and developer information. 3, update and realign eligible activity costs. And then lastly, to adjust the proposed tax increment revenue capture schedule. Current development, as discussed at City Council when we established the public hearing, includes the construction of a new 3-story mixed-use building at the intersection of West Holmes and Pleasant Grove Road. The proposed layout includes approximately 5,800 square feet of commercial space and 30 energy-efficient residential units between first, second, and third floors. This does include a community capital model, which would allow community members to invest through investor crowdfunding in amounts as small as $50 and allows for community members to build some measure of equity, maintain some measure of control, and keep assets local. The developer is actually working with Coalition for Community Capital on this piece. We were fortunate enough to have Mr. Chris Miller in on the 14th with Brent Forsberg to discuss that piece of the project, which is, I think, unique and incredibly exciting. In terms of the residential, the plan does contemplate the use of Mishta Housing TIF, so this will be our second project using that particular tool. If successful, the use of the housing TIF means that rent prices for units utilizing that house TIF would be kept attainable to persons at or below 120% of their area median income for the duration of the plan, and the duration of the plan being proposed is 30 years. In terms of the 5,800 square feet of commercial space, LAFQ is committed to being one of the first tenants. I know that there's been some discussion with a local coffee operator. There will be area for small restaurants with kind of counter style and community eating area. Large plaza outside for activation. It was discussed that there will be electric access. And there is a proposed Malcolm X memorial, as this is the site of some of his elementary years. All sub-construct for stormwater will be done for the entire site. This development will be in phases, and this amendment deals with just the first phase. Total capital investment in terms of the first phase is right about $8 million, which about $3.8 million is reimbursable as eligible activities. New taxes are estimated to be $5.6 million over the life of the plan, which would create new taxes for jurisdictions via pass-through, and there would be some additional dollars deposited essentially into the revolving fund. It was discussed that in terms of estimated job creation, completed project is anticipated to create 10 to 15 full-time equivalent jobs with an estimated average hourly wage of $15 an hour. What I really appreciated about the presentation is I felt the developer, Brent Forsberg, spent a lot of time talking about the work that's already been done in Southwest Lansing really over the last 10 years, and really trying to capitalize on that work, capitalize on the interconnectedness, capitalize on the partnerships with, everybody from the county treasurer to the land bank to the Southwest Action Group to Rejuvenating South Lansing, list goes on and on. But truly this is really meant to be a community-based project with a lot of community input, and due to this very unique community capital model, community investment. Thank you.
Right, and then I have Councilmember Garza, number 8.
Thank you, Council President. Good evening, everyone. Tonight, we are considering an amendment to Chapter 206, Section 206.02 of the Lansing Code of Ordinances, which updates and clarifies how the city awards construction contracts. This amendment strengthens our commitment to awarding contracts not just based on the lowest price, but to the most responsive and responsible bidder. That means the city will be taking a more comprehensive look at a contractor's qualifications, including their track record, financial stability, workforce development, and capacity to meet project demands. By clearly defining what it means to be both responsive and responsible, we're ensuring that public projects are awarded to contractors who can deliver quality work safely, on time, and within budget, not just those who submit the cheapest bid on paper. This update protects the integrity of our procurement process, improves the quality and reliability of city projects, and keeps taxpayer dollars invested right here in Lansing. This ordinance isn't about politics, it's about protecting Lansing taxpayers, promoting quality jobs, and making sure public projects reflect public values, safety, quality, and accountability. If you're not invested in your workers, you're not invested in Lansing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, we are to public comment. First, we have David Burns, followed by Carlos Manchin. And you have up to 3 minutes to address City Council.
Good evening. My name's David Burns. I work with Ingham County Land Bank. In this project that we've been working on for about 6 years, it's a fantastic project. There's a lot of grant money involved, and the participation of the city of Lansing would be very much welcomed and needed. So I'm here to support this project, not just from the land bank, but also as a resident of Lansing. This is an important project and a catalyst for other growth in this area of town that needs it. So I'm here to support this, and I hope you guys do too. Thank you, President and everyone.
Thank you. Next is Carlos Manchin, followed by Brent Forsberg.
Greetings, council members. My name is Carlos Manchon. I am a longtime resident of North Large Street, where the contractor working on the city project has established a construction staging area. It has come to my attention that today a meeting was to be held to decide whether the contractor will be granted an extension to their noise permit on Saturdays. I write today to strongly oppose this extension and to voice my deep concern over the impact this staging area has had on our neighborhood. We do not merely reject the proposed extension, we categorically oppose the existence of the staging area itself, which sits quite literally in our backyards. Since its establishment, the site has caused significant noise and dust pollution, creating constant disruption for myself and my family. We are a neighborhood that is accustomed to a certain level of noise, with a busy street and train tracks nearby, but the disturbances caused by this staging area go far beyond anything we have ever experienced. They are excessive and intolerable. Personally, I suffer from a severe anxiety disorder. At the onset of the noise and dust from the project, I experienced a debilitating episode that required emergency services. I was unable to work for 4 weeks, 3 of which were spent in an outpatient recovery program recommended by my doctor. I had to begin new medications as a direct result of this ordeal. The ongoing daily noise has continued to trigger my anxiety to the point where I no longer feel comfortable in the home I have lived in for over 30 years. This is not just my experience. Neighbors throughout the neighborhood have have been affected. One family with a young daughter with asthma can no longer even jump on her trampoline because it is covered with dust. Another neighbor can't even open her windows or go outside due to her severe allergies. Our entire community is suffering, and we feel abandoned by the very city officials that are supposed to represent and protect us. It is hard to ignore the feeling that this situation would not have been allowed to happen in a wealthier or predominantly white neighborhood. Ours is a majority Hispanic community, and the lack of consideration we've received makes us feel marginalized and disrespected. To make matters worse, every time I received a response from a city official, I was told that it was to reduce costs. But as I asked this council, what about the costs that aren't measured in dollars? What about the costs of our neighborhoods, our communities, and the well-being of the people that live there? We are calling for the timely removal and relocation of this staging area. The city and all parties involved must take accountability for this decision and recognize the harm it has caused. Our voices matter. Our health and well-being must be prioritized. We urge the city to do the right thing, remove and relocate the staging area, deny the noise permit extension, and ensure no other neighborhood is subjected to this kind of harm again. Thank you for your attention, and we await your response. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now is not the time to clap. If we can keep order, please, so everyone has a chance to speak freely. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Next is Brent Forsberg, followed by Chaz Carril.
Good evening, Brett Forsberg. Just wanted to say thank you again for hosting the public hearing. Looking forward to hearing the comments, and we're here for any questions that may come up tonight. So, thank you, guys.
Thank you. Next is Chaz Carril, followed by Paul Anderson.
I wear a lot of hats, so I just clarify I'm only speaking under this hat, which is the President of Greater Lansing Hispanic Chamber, and our great opportunity over the last few years to work on this project in South Lansing with Brent Forsberg and the team that he's developed there, including people at the land bank and other community groups, and I'm sure other people that might come up here and talk. I'm sure everybody's going to say it's a fantastic project. I'm sure they're going to talk about the highlights of it. But to me, I just wanted to focus on the intentionality of it, because not one piece of this plan overthought the people and community that are in there. Not one part of this plan is not including them, not only in the development of what is going to happen, but the prosperity that's going to come from it happening and the access to housing that it'll give that part of Lansing. And so I'm not going to go long, but just to say that, and the intentionality, I think, is really important piece that's been brought up a few times, but I think needs to be a focus of when that decision is made, that's a key part of what you hear from all the groups up here. They're going to say that it's a good project. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Paul Anderson, followed by Michael Marks.
Good evening, Council. My name is Paul Anderson. I'm the Executive Director for Southwest Action Group. I'm here tonight not just representing an organization, but a neighborhood, a legacy, and a promise. In 2016, Southwest Lansing came together to craft a vision, a community-led plan that asks one powerful question: why not us? Why not invest in our corridors? Why not restore beauty to neglected spaces? Why not create opportunity where disinvestment had left scars? That plan gave birth to real wins. The Beacon soccer field turned a vacant lot into a place of pride and a play for youth. The Encompass Lansing art installation brought color, story, and life to the corner of Pleasant Grove and Holmes. There wasn't just beautification projects. They were acts of healing. A few months ago, I had the honor of directing a short documentary about Southwest Lansing. I got to sit down with some of the people who were instrumental in making those wins possible, from young mentors to business owners to longtime residents who never gave up on this place. Hearing their stories reminded me that this isn't just about projects. It's always been about people. People who have been doing the work quietly for years. People who saw possibility long before anyone else did. but there's one last promise left to fulfill: the redevelopment of the former Pleasant Grove Elementary School where Malcolm X once attended. That site holds history, pain, and potential. And now, after years of community planning, dialogue, and alignment, we're ready to transform it into something visionary: a community hub with housing, workforce training, financial education that leads to wealth empowerment, access to health care, support for small businesses, and a Malcolm X memorial that speaks to the legacy, justice, voice, and transformation. This project is not about bricks and mortar. It's about completing the story we started. It's about dignity, it's about ownership, it's about belonging. Since I've been around Southwest Lansing has never asked for charity. We've asked for partnership. That's why I fully support the Brownfield plan, because it helps make this vision real. It brings critical resources to the site that holds so much meaning and so much potential. What happens in Southwest Lansing matters to all of Lansing. Because when you invest in communities that have historically been left out, you don't just repair the past, you unlock the future. We're ready. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Michael Marks, followed by Jason Brown.
Good evening. My name is Michael Marks. I am the president of a local contractor, E.T. McKenzie Company. E.T. McKenzie Company has been doing work with the City of Lansing on City of Lansing construction projects for in excess of 40 years now. Projects are done with quality work, safely, on time. Here to discuss the responsible contractor ordinance. This ordinance puts some of the local contractors, not all, at a disadvantage in that the proposed ordinance language has a requirement that to gain top scoring under the ordinance, you have participants in a federally accredited apprenticeship program, which is not something that every contractor has easily available to it. That is one way of training in the construction trades, but it's not the only way. There are other ways to train as well, such as accredited construction trade schools, such as community colleges, Michigan Works, all sorts of other programs like that. So the ordinance is right now putting local contractors, some at a disadvantage. I would ask that you change the ordinance language to be more inclusive to the local contractors. In addition to this, this process has been used by other communities in the state, and it does come at an additional cost to the taxpayer. I believe there's better ways to certify and that you have a quality project. You can have contractors be pre-qualified, for example. There are several other things you can do. So I would ask you to change the proposed ordinance language and to remember that there are a lot of local contractors who have been working with the city for years who shouldn't be excluded from the process. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Jason Brown, followed by Tom Stark.
Good evening. My name is Jason Brown. I'm with the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters, Local 333, serving Lansing. I'm here to speak in support of the responsible and responsive bidders ordinance, and I look forward to witnessing all the positives that will come out of passing this here in Lansing. I believe that this is a great opportunity for the local contractors and their local workers to thrive close to home. Not only will those local workers benefit from this, but the local economy should see the positive impact as well. Money earned here should be money spent here. And the passing of this responsible and responsive bidders ordinance, our local contractors can turn their paychecks into the paychecks of somebody else right here in Lansing and keep that cycle going to continue to build and allow Lansing to prosper. Thank you for your time and consideration in passing this bill.
Thank you. Next is Tom Stark, followed by Deshaun Leak.
I'm Tom Stark. I'm vice president of a local excavating company, Levitt and Stark Excavating, that does a lot of work for the city of Lansing. Basically, talking about item number 8 here, the responsible bidder ordinance. I agree that there needs to be a system in place to have responsible, well-qualified contractors doing the work in the city of Lansing. I would rather bid against people that are qualified than people that have no systems in place. The part of it that makes it difficult for local contractors is the apprenticeship portion. That has to be, that there's a requirement for the U.S. DOL apprenticeship program. There are many other ways to get training. There are other apprenticeship programs that there's even local ones through community colleges, through AIS construction equipment. So I think the ordinance itself, in terms of qualifying contractors, is a good thing, but the way it's worded and the way it's put together needs to be reevaluated, in particular in regards to the percentage of apprentices that have to be with the Department of Labor apprenticeship program. So I think it's very important for the city of Lansing to be able to consider all training providers and not just DOL programs. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Deshaun Leak, followed by Jeremiah Leba.
All right. Good evening, council. My name is Deshaun Leak. I am a representative of the Michigan Building Trades Council, and I'm speaking on behalf of the Lansing Building Trade affiliates and their members that wasn't able to make it here today. We stand in full support of this proposed responsive and responsible bidding ordinance. These updates will benefit our local workers, strengthen the local economy, and improve safety standards on the construction projects throughout the city. So we respectfully urge you to support these changes for the future of Lansing. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Jeremiah Leba, followed by Ken Kolb.
Good evening, City Council members. Thank you for the opportunity to make comment here tonight. My comments pertain to item number 8, the proposed amendment clarifying responsible and responsive bidder draft language. My name is Jeremiah Leba, and I'm the Director of Engineering for the Michigan Infrastructure and Transportation Association. We are an industry association that consists of over 500 Michigan companies, both union and non-union, representing the heavy construction industry throughout the state of Michigan. One of the core purposes of this association is safeguarding the public policy embodied in the competitive bidding process. The competitive bidding process exists to guard against corruption, favoritism, and abuse of discretion by public officials. We commend the city for seeking to be diligent in the pursuit of responsible and responsive bidders. However, we are opposed to the ordinance as written and would like to ensure the City Council is aware of the detrimental consequences if enacted. The ordinance dictates mandatory participation in a USDOL apprenticeship program. Workforce development is not a one-size-fits-all model. Workforce development certainly includes apprenticeships through USDOL programs, but also includes high-quality associate degrees, trade school diplomas, industry credentials, and certifications. Lansing Community College has excellent programs, including associate degrees, which prepare students for careers in the trades. These programs would be excluded under this ordinance. Certifications for the American Welding Society, a globally recognized credential demonstrating proficiency and safety in welding, would be excluded under this ordinance. The U.S. Army's Horizontal Construction Engineer Program offers veterans a high-quality training pathway in the industry and would be excluded under this ordinance. There are many programs that do not fall under the USDOL's apprenticeship umbrella that reputable contractors use to train and mentor their workforce. The city of Lansing would be excluding bidders that are highly qualified, and with dwindling workforces across the state, it is an exclusion no municipality can responsibly afford. The ordinance also dictates a scoring system is to be implemented. We request that any scoring systems be implemented in a fair, open, competitive, and clear bidding format. MIDA is opposed to the use of any post-bid scoring in which a bidder cannot fairly and feasibly ascertain their standing by time of award, or any practice which is anti-competitive. We sincerely hope that the City of Lansing continues to openly solicit bids, conducts their analysis in a consistent, fair, and unbiased manner, and awards all its projects to the lowest responsive and responsible bidder. Thank you again for your time.
Thank you. Next is Ken Kolb, followed by Jacob Toomey.
Good evening, Council. I'm Ken Kolb. I'm a representative from IBEW Local 665 here in Lansing, Michigan, and I represent 800 electricians here in the greater Lansing area. We are in strong support of the responsible and responsive bidding ordinance that's coming out. I think it's going to be a great thing for the Lansing community, and for construction bids as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Jacob Toomey, followed by Loretta Stanaway.
I'm sorry to interrupt. There does seem to be an issue with the feed for city TV, so I don't know if council members are getting texts, but I am. Just for the public out there, if you can actually hear me, our staff is working on it. My apologies, Mr. President.
Thank you. Good evening, council members. Thank you for allowing me the opportunity to speak in support of the proposed responsible and responsive bidder ordinance this evening. My name is Jacob Toomey. I'm a proud member of Laborers Local 499, which represents workers who live right here in the city of Lansing. For the laborers, I serve as the Deputy Director of Government Affairs for the Michigan Laborers District Council, also known as Michigan LIUNA. Michigan LIUNA is a construction building trades union representing over 15,000 active and retired members across the state, including over 1,500 members of Local 499. Ordinance 206.02, the Responsible Bidders Ordinance, is about modernizing contractor selection for publicly funded construction projects to ensure taxpayers are getting the best value for their money. This ordinance helps ensure contractors have a proven record of success by incentivizing participation in accredited apprenticeship programs, so we know workers on the job site are properly trained, skilled, and prepared to deliver high-quality results. It also supports fair wages, which attract and retain the best local talent, reduce turnover, and lift up working families, many of whom live in the city and pay taxes here. And it prioritizes safety. When contractors invest in training and follow responsible practices, injuries go down, productivity goes up, and projects get done right. Finally, this is about fiscal responsibility. This ordinance will ensure we get better work for public dollars and ensure taxpayers see real value in their communities. While some have tried to paint this policy as ineffective, the data simply does not support that argument. Research from the Illinois Economic Policy Institute examining 1,237 public projects found that the responsible bidder ordinances increase the number of bids per project by 8% and have no statistical impact on total construction costs. Over 15 different municipalities, including 3 of the 5 largest cities in Michigan, have adopted similar ordinances to this one because they work. They raise standards, increase accountability, and support a stronger local workforce. This policy is good for the city of Lansing, it's good for taxpayers, and it's good for the hardworking folks performing these contracts. So on behalf of Michigan LIUNA, LIUNA Local 499, and working people in the city of Lansing, I urge you to adopt this ordinance. Thank you for your time and your continued leadership on this matter.
Thank you. Next is Loretta Stanaway, followed by Nicholas Zandy.
Okay, a change of topic. We're going to start talking about the proposed change to the city's rules that would allow for landlords to be required to have liability insurance to protect them if there were a fire or flood or something of that nature that excluded their residents from being able to stay in their properties. I think this comes down to a couple of different things. Currently, tenants can purchase renters insurance, which protects them if they choose to buy it. Landlords typically carry liability insurance, which protects them from major things like fires or floods. So what this would be designed to address would be those bad tenants or those bad landlords who don't take care of their properties in one way or another and create a situation where the tenants are then forced to move out and the landlords are being asked to bear the cost of relocating those persons. First off, we don't know that there's an insurance policy that they can buy that will achieve that. And second, it looks to me like if you really dig down into this and peel back the layers of the onions, what we're doing here is we're failing to recognize that the city of Lansing has failed to properly staff and to properly implement its own zoning codes and compliance ordinances. We didn't staff this code compliance properly. We had ineffective people in the staff positions, and we allowed these situations to develop. If we had the proper staff, the proper efficient workers, these situations would be getting inspected, they would be getting cited, and they would be being forced into compliance before anything ever reached this level. So you're being asked to add a layer of bureaucracy and an additional cost to the landlords and to the tenants to correct a failure of the city to properly act. I don't think that's a good enough reason to pass this. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Nicholas Zandy.
So I am here to speak on agenda items 9 and 10, which are also, weirdly enough, agenda items 2 and 3, and those are about the new appointments to the board. And I have no ill will towards either of them. I'm sure they're good people, and hearing their backgrounds, I'm sure they may be good appointments. However, promising appointments can only go so far if they keep getting controlled as the mayor's sick puppets. I can't really say the C word out loud because this is city TV, but what I will say is that what the mayor has been doing with a lot of those boards has been like abusing his power to appoint people that will agree with him and will obey no matter what. And we've seen that very prominently with Farhan's appointment and how he's being let go because he happens to disagree with the mayor's opinion on crime levels, which jury's out on whether or not crime actually is going down or not. I hope that it is, but I sincerely doubt that it is. But having said that, just by doing that and using the arbitrary term of dishonesty when he's been upfront about his own opinions to the public is just downright infuriating, and that itself is a lie. So he was honest. He was being honest about himself and about his relationship with the community, and yet he's still letting him go anyway. So in terms of these appointments, there needs to be a change where the appointments should be done by a vote of the council based on who is the best fit for that position, and the mayor confirms them, not the other way around. And the only people who should be appointed by the mayor are those who run the city's departments. But even then, there should still be city council confirmation on that front, which I'm sure there is, with the exception of the clerk, attorney, and assessor, which the clerk already is elected, while the attorney and the assessor should be elected. And that's another good reason why a lot of this stuff should change. And to you, Mr. Shore, in the nicest way I can say, why the heck did you have to treat Farhan and some of your other appointments like that just because they happen to disagree with you? Nobody should be treated like that. And I do wish to be part of some of those boards because I want to be in the conversation, but I do not want to feel excluded and marginalized by a broken system. That is all I'm going to say, and I'll yield the rest of my time.
Thank you. I would indicate that there were a number of letters related to public hearings that were already made part of the published packet. We have some additional communications. We have a letter from the Chamber of Commerce in support of Brownfield Plan number 80. We have a dozen letters in support of the responsible and responsive bidder ordinance, and one letter expressing concerns and seeking clarifications. We have a letter in support of Brownfield Plan number 86 and a letter in support of Brownfield Plan number 88 that will all be made part of the public record. And that takes us to the referral of the public hearings, items 5 and 6, the noise special permits.
City operations.
And item 7, Brownfield Plan 80.
Development and planning.
And item 8, the bidding ordinance.
Development and planning.
Okay, we are to the consent agenda items were already handled under special ceremonies, so we are to resolutions for action. Item 11, Brownfield Plan number 86.
Councilmember Garza.
Thank you, Council President. So
First, I'll start with Brownfield, Plan number 86, Novi Properties. We had a public hearing held 2 weeks ago on July 14th. This is a $4 million redevelopment project led by local developers Melissa White and James Denning. Their plan will transform this blighted, functionally obsolete site into a vibrant community asset, including a laundromat, retail, restaurant, on-site office, event space, and outdoor areas like patios and walking paths. This property has been vacant or severely underused for over a decade, with parts like the laundromat sitting empty for 30 years. This redevelopment will remove a long-standing public health and safety concern, attract businesses and residents back to South Lansing, and raise surrounding property values. Under Michigan's Brownfield program, once eligible costs are reimbursed, this property returns fully to the tax rolls, strengthen our local tax base. This plan has broad community and Lansing Economic Development Corporation support and reflects our shared goal of bringing life back to key neighborhoods. And with that, I would move the resolution.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion on this issue? Councilmember Hussein.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank, and I feel like I saw James Denning in the audience, and Melissa. Yeah, fantastic. I just wanted to say thank you to those two. You have certainly played the long game in terms of this one, and I think it's really been a exercise in patience and in determination. Really, you've demonstrated, I think, your love for the community. This has not been an easy project to get to the goal line. I know some of the things that you all have been through, some of the comments that have been made, publicly and privately, and maybe some of the disbelief that's out there. But you all have been steadfast in your belief in this project, and I think kind of on a broader level, your belief in this community. And so I really want to thank you. I think it is an exciting time when you talk about community. It's an exciting time for our community. You think about this and some of the things that we've been able to get done in South Lansing. You think about the amendment to Brownfield Plan number 80 that we had a public hearing on tonight. It is an exciting, exciting time, and we are certainly thankful that you are a part of that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimously.
We are to Brownfield Plan number 88, item 12.
Councilmember Garza.
All right, thank you, Council President. So like Brownfield Plan 86, there was a public hearing held on July 14th. This is an East Michigan revitalization project. This project will redevelop 6 vacant buildings in the 600 block of East Michigan Avenue, previous owned by the Rescue Mission, which is relocating on 400 block of West Kalamazoo Street. It's the first housing project in the Lansing using the Brownfield TIF tool under updated 2023 law, creating 15 attainable housing units for residents earning 80 to 120% AMI, approximately 52,000 to 78,000, and 6 small retail spaces as well. Retail spaces, about 570 to 700 square feet, are designed for local startups with estimated rents of about $1,200 a month. This project is led by the Gillespie Group in partnership with Leap Thrive and the Michigan Avenue Revitalization Group, and leverages state funding and local labor. Housing mix includes studios, 1 bedrooms, and 1 2-bedroom unit with rents between $950 and $1,300 a month. There will be 7 on-site parking spots and 8 off-site with some reliance on walkable urban infrastructure. Additional improvements include facade upgrades and rain gardens, contributing to the corridor's revitalization. The developer now plans to invest significantly to restore the storefronts, modernize building systems, address any environmental issues, and bring in new commercial tenants, helping to reinvigorate Michigan Avenue as a vibrant mixed-use corridor. The upper floor residential units will also be rehabilitated and brought up to modern standards. These buildings dating back to 1907 have been underused and deteriorating for years. And for some time, there were 3 of them were owned by the City Rescue Mission, which meant they were exempt from the property taxes and now will be contributing to the city's tax base. And with that, I would move the resolution.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Oppose? Passes unanimously.
Okay, we are to item 13, council staff personnel rule changes.
Vice President Carter.
Thank you, President Cost. Bear with me as my voice is in and out, but this was brought to the Committee of Personnel, which we met in May, twice in June, and then lastly on July 17th. we've been working with Human Resources and our OCA in regards to 2 open positions, our internal auditor position and our legislative analysis position. It was brought to our attention that we wanted to be more inclusive within our committee, so we decided to review our Committee on Personnel rules. And with that, we have found a few different changes and updates. One, the major one being that we would like to make this more of a suitable hybrid remote or flexible work position for both. So we made sure we made some arrangements and some word verbiage switches in the council rules with that. We also made it a little bit more clear where besides it's just stating council leadership, it specifies council president and vice president. We also wanted to make sure that it modified the remote work agreement to a different verbiage of special work agreement, arrangement, excuse me. And then we also made some minor changes with information technology and just made it where it's IT department, City of Lansing versus just city, so small grammatical switches as well. But overall, the resolution was to make sure that we included the hybrid, remote, and flexible work requests that will be written for all 4 positions, the council legislative office manager, the administrative assistant, the internal auditor, and the legislative analysis. And with that, we also brought into reviewing the current internal auditor position. We did make some modifications within the education and experience requirement, which speaks to having the City of Lansing reserves the right to utilize equivalent education experiences that were deemed appropriate with regard to education and experience requirements, having a bachelor's degree or equivalent, having at least 5 years or more of professional experience, certifications as CPA, CIA, and CFE, and if not already, having those certifications must obtain within 1 year of employment. And with the legislative analysis position, we made a general summary of duties. With both positions, we did do comparisons within cities throughout Michigan so that we were within competitive range. But we did have a general summary with our legislative analysis position, being that this is a newer position that was responsible for monitoring and evaluating proposed legislation and public policies proposed or being proposed by the Lansing City Council that may impact the City of Lansing. We also made some modifications with experience in education, where we made it where it was 2 or more years of experience. We omitted the bachelor's or associate's degree. And then we made it where, again, that this was both a remote or hybrid or flexible position. We also wanted to make sure we encompass that with the passage of the city council or the council staff personnel rules tonight, that both positions will be posted effective on July 29th, tomorrow, for 31 days in connection with the Michigan Municipal League posting. We also made recommendations that all applications will be reviewed and not screened by Human Resources. And then council staff will update the Committee on Personnel daily once it is posted to determine the timing of reviewing and making determinations on testings and postings for both positions. And with that, I move the resolution.
Okay, we have a proper motion. Are there any questions? Councilmember Brown?
Thank you all for putting so much work into this and adjustment. I have one question regarding the, and thank you for presenting, Madam Vice President, the special work arrangement for hybrid, remote, or flexible working schedules may only be approved by the President and Vice President, who shall provide a decision within 10 business days of the request. Is that something that the President and Vice President both, or is that an and or? How is that
That would be
process or
both.
that language? Okay.
That would be both. Previous to the change, there was no time frame, so we wanted to make sure that we put a time frame, and it would be for both.
Okay, fantastic. Thank you.
Councilmember Spatafor, did you have a question? Okay. Any further questions? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. And then Councilmember Spatafor has an update on City TV.
Yeah, sorry about that. As the mayor mentioned, staff was working on it, and Sherry just came back to tell me it's streaming fine on Comcast. It's the online version that's the problem. And to fix it, they have to shut down the whole thing, and that could be 5-10 minute reboot. So it's fixed.
Looks like we're back up.
The mayor made a liar out of me. I'm sorry.
I was trying not to.
Oh, okay.
I saw it pop up on my phone. It was live again, but
Okay, we are to item 14, the reappointment of Anthony Mullen to the Board of Water and Light.
Vice President Carter.
Thank you. We had Mr. Mullen here present at Committee of a Whole. Mr. Mullen did express that he had been serving with Board of Water and Light since 2012 and has been living in the city of Lansing for over 30 years in the southwest area. He would bring knowledge of collections to the position, and he has shared multiple times that he has a connection to everyday people and concerns, being that he has a background within collections. He's going to be adamant to look for ways to find solutions, and he would be working with the BWL to see if we could split utilities so that we can keep the bill payments more efficient and lack turn-off notices. He also expressed to us that this would be a three-leg approach where we have the owners, the ratepayers, and the employees, and he wants to uphold Board Water and Light as a whole so that not one leg approach would be more significant over the other. He did mention that he would be having a ongoing and engaging passion to serve in our public communities by building personal connections with those who he encounters. And with that, he was eager to continue to serve on the Board of Water and Light. And with that, I make the motion.
Proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, we are to ordinances for introduction and setting of public hearings. First, we have the Committee on Public Safety introduced an ordinance of the City of Lansing, Michigan to amend the Lansing Codified Ordinances, amending Chapters 1610, Section 1610.01 by updating the International Fire Code, IFC, and standards adopted by reference from the 2018 IFC to the 2021 IFC, and amending Section 1610.02 by renumbering IFC section to the 2021 code. The ordinance is read a first time by its title and referred to the Committee on Public Safety.
Councilmember Pelivanoglou.
Thank you, President Cost. At our most recent Committee on Public Safety meeting, Lansing Fire Department Chief Sturdivant came and spoke to the committee and explained some of the updates that are within the 2021 International Fire Code that will be updated from the 2018 version. Some of those additional items include fire apparatus access roads. It addresses electric vehicle regulations and butane extraction regulations, among a variety of other updates. And so it was with his recommendation that the committee did vote to move this on to set for a public hearing here on August 11th. And with that, I will move the resolution for the public hearing.
Okay, so we have a proper motion in place for a public hearing, August 11th. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, next we have Councilmember Cost introduced an ordinance of the City of Lansing, Michigan to amend the Lansing Codified Ordinances, Chapter 210, to add Section 210.06 to provide censure, penalties, and forfeiture of office for non-attendance of council members at meetings pursuant to the authority of in Section 3-204 of the city charter. The ordinance is read a first time by its title and referred to the Committee of the Whole.
Vice President Carter. Councilmember Pelivanoglou.
Sure, thank you. As was discussed at Committee of the Whole, this attendance ordinance sets forth some definitions for council meetings, committee meetings, absences, and excused absences. It does lay out a scale of penalties for unexcused absences for council and committee meetings, and it sets parameters around requesting excused absences by council members to council leadership. Again, it's the feeling that this is, sets common sense parameters around these expectations for today and for council members in the future. And with that, I would move the resolution to set a public hearing for August 11th.
Okay, proper motion in place. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
All right, we are to ordinances for passage. We have an ordinance of the City of Lansing, Michigan to amend the Lansing Codified Ordinances, Chapter 1460, Section 1460.49 Sub A, to add a requirement that rental dwellings have insurance covering tenant relocation costs prior to issuance of a certificate of compliance, is read a first time by its title. The ordinance was reported from the Committee on Public Safety and is on the order of immediate passage.
Councilmember Pelli-Vonaglu.
Thank you, President Cost. Again, we're discussing the ordinance regarding rental dwelling insurance. I believe it's important to note, and it's a question that has been asked, this is not a mandate for insurance for these properties. Property owners will be able to obtain a rental certificate without having an insurance rider or insurance that addresses relocation specifically. However, they will have to acknowledge that in the next item we have to discuss, they would acknowledge tenant relocation fees, which would be outlined in 1460.51. And I can certainly go into some of the other items here, but essentially I just thought it was important to put forward that property owners will be able to receive the rental certificate without having this insurance by simply signing an acknowledgement. With that, I will make a motion to adopt.
We have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? I would like to just add to this and echo the remarks that Councilmember Pelli-Vonaglu made, that this does not require a landlord, a small mom and pop, to try to find this insurance. If they have been a good landlord, they can opt out of this, understanding that they will be on the hook if something were to go badly with the rental. This is a state that very much favors landlords and has very few protections for tenants. And I think that this is a good bill moving forward. And I think there's a lot of questions of what about this or what about that? But I think that's going to get worked out within the department level. We had fielded some questions during our meeting, but those are more department operation questions versus, putting it into an ordinance. And this is new territory for Lansing. We worked very hard. I want to thank former Councilmember Spitzley, who worked on this before, and Councilmember Wood, and numerous others who have worked on this, and members up here who have worked on this. And, this is a culmination of about 3 years of work with the city attorney to get to this point. So, it's not everything I think we wanted, but it's good. So I'm going to support this. Councilmember Pelli-Vonaglu.
Thank you. And to piggyback off of what you've just said, I would like to express as well, this ordinance has gone through several iterations over the last several years. It certainly predates my time on council. But working together and moving this forward in a way that made sense, I can support this because it is not a mandate. Just as we cannot mandate residents to carry renters insurance. So we're not mandating that landlords carry this insurance. It is an option. And for those reasons, I will support.
Okay, do we have any further discussion? Councilmember Hussein.
Yeah, and I guess I'd just echo that. This to me is one of the more, I think, responsible things we've done during my time on council. I certainly want to appreciate everybody that was mentioned earlier. We also have former Councilwoman Washington in the audience. We know this is something that she worked on during her time. But I also want to thank the Public Safety Committee, this iteration, in terms of Public Safety Committee, because I think that, that particular group fielded, I think, a lot of concerns, a lot of issues, and then worked with the city attorney's office to be as responsive as possible. And I think what we have now, and there have been a lot of questions, well, what about this and this and this? What we did was we created a framework where all of those things can be addressed through policy, through the administration. And so I think most folks that were involved in this process, which was frankly, there was robust communication. There were a lot of people attending committee meetings, which we always love to see because that's where the real work is done. It seemed like most folks were happy where we arrived, no matter what side of the fence they started on. We're pretty comfortable moving forward with this. And so thanks to everybody that was involved.
Thank you. Do we have any further discussion? Okay. Clerk Swope, could you please do roll call vote?
Certainly. Councilmember Hussein.
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson is absent. Councilmember Cost.
Yes.
Councilmember Pelivanoglou.
Yes.
Councilmember Spatafor. Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Councilmember Garza.
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays, the ordinance is adopted. Is there a movement for immediate effect?
Do we have a motion for immediate effect?
So moved.
Okay, proper motion in place. All those in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Point of order is,
Councilmember Brown.
who motioned it?
It was Councilmember Pelivanoglou.
I'm sorry.
She moved for immediate effect.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, we are to item 18. We have an ordinance of the City of Lansing, Michigan to amend the Lansing Codified Ordinances, Chapter 1460 to renumber 1460.51 to 1460.52 to add a new section 1460.51 to create a tenant relocation fee to provide that the fee only be assessed when the city pays for a tenant's relocation resulting from a required vacation from residential premises because of a condition making the premises unsafe to occupy, to provide for a fee waiver when the relocation costs are otherwise covered by insurance, and to provide for calculation, billing, and collection of the fee. Is read a second time by its title. The ordinance was reported from the Committee on Public Safety and is on the order of immediate passage.
Okay, and I have Councilmember Pelivanoglou, not she. Sorry, when I pointed at you, I should have said Councilmember Pelivanoglou, not she.
Thank you, President Cost. Again, this is an ordinance that has been discussed several times, both here at the dais and in committee, regarding tenant relocation fees. And again, this is in the event that there is no insurance that would cover relocating a tenant. And I do want to reiterate, this fee is only assessed when the city pays for a tenant's relocation due to a property becoming unsafe to occupy. Code compliance does have to determine that the dwelling is unsafe to occupy. And at the time of relocation, if there's no insurance policy to cover, if the city provides at its expense the immediate temporary replacement for folks to find a safer dwelling, then this fee would be applicable. This fee is to cover no more than 30 days and will not be assessed in an amount that would be higher than paid by the city initially. So there's no additional fee to this. It would simply be to reimburse for the city for costs that they have paid for relocating tenants from an unsafe dwelling. And with that, I will move the passage of the ordinance.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Councilmember Brown.
Thank you. I will support this, but I know there was a few concerns about articulating whether the reason for relocation was the tenant's at fault or the landlord. And so I just wanted to point that out as well. But I will be supporting it, but, just how is that determined? And we talked about operationally, because if, for example, a family, destroys a house and then now the landlord is responsible for relocating.
Can you pull that closer? We can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
So, for example, if, a family or an individual destroys a property and then now it becomes tagged and then the property owner has to, relocate the individual for destroying their property was something that was brought up. But I will be supporting this, but that was something that I know a few different landlords had brought up. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. I believe that there's been conversation about that issue and addressing it within this at a later point, soon after we pass this, or if it's passed, to address that question. But I also trust the judgment of our code compliance folks who are going to be stickering it to, that it's either done by act of God or on, the condition of the housing versus the person purposely doing the thing.
That's what I said as far as
Councilmember
operations.
Pelivanoglou.
Thank you. If I could just follow that up, I will say thank you so much for asking that question, because that is the number one concern that I had heard when fielding questions from property owners, landlords. And I will say I heard from a number of good landlords throughout the city. The reality is we need good landlords, and we want good landlords here and to remain and to do business here. And so that was one of the main questions. What if the tenant causes the unsafe or uninhabitable situation? And that's a real, I can understand that. There are some remedies for that could be worked out. And again, to President Kost's point, we're not at the point yet of operationalizing this yet through the department. But if it's a landlord that owns a multi-unit structure and one unit is damaged, they could certainly be placed into another unit to relocate where this fee would not be applicable. If it's a family or an individual has a support system, such as family or friends, and they're able to stay with them for a certain amount of time, this fee would not be applicable. If there is another organization that is willing to help relocating the tenant to another space while this property is being brought back up to code, this fee would not be applicable. It's only when the city has to pay for relocating folks from unsafe dwellings. And so I think the spirit of this speaks to protecting some of our most vulnerable renters and residents throughout the city. So that's why I'm comfortable supporting it. But I do recognize that's a real question that exists out there for our landlords who are concerned about that. So thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any further questions? Okay, Clerk Swope, could you do the roll?
Certainly, Councilmember Jackson is absent. Councilmember Cost.
Yes.
Councilmember Pelivanoglou.
Yes.
Councilmember Spatafor. Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Councilmember Garza.
Yes.
Councilmember Hussein.
Yes.
7 yeas, 0 nays.
We have,
Immediate effect?
I move for immediate effect.
okay. We have a proper motion in place for immediate effect. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, we are to item 19. We have an ordinance of the City of Lansing, Michigan to amend the Lansing Codified Ordinances, Chapter 1460, to update and correct internal references located in Section 1460.44 subsections A and I and 1460.50. Is read a second time by its title. The ordinance was reported from the Committee on Public Safety and is on the order of immediate passage.
Councilmember Pelivanoglou.
This is fairly straightforward. This updates internal references to Chapter 1460, Section 1460.50. And with that, I will move the ordinance for passage.
Okay, do we have any further discussion? Seeing none, Clerk Swope, could you please do a roll call?
Certainly, Councilmember Cost.
Yes.
Councilmember Pelivanoglou.
Yes.
Councilmember Spatafor. Councilmember Brown.
Yes.
Councilmember Carter.
Yes.
Councilmember Garza.
Yes.
Councilmember Hussein.
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson is absent. 7 yeas, 0 nays. The ordinance is adopted. Is there immediate effect?
I move for immediate effect.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place for immediate effect. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously.
Okay, we are to speaker registration for public comment on city government-related matters. That's any matter related to the operation of the city. And you have about we'll give you one more minute to sign in with Magdalene in the back if you haven't already done so. And with that, we are to reports of city officers, boards, and commissions.
Vice President Carter.
I motion that all items be considered as being read in full and that the proper referrals be made by President Cost.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously.
We have from the city clerk, minutes of boards and commissions.
Place on file.
We have from the mayor, budget amendment, human relations and community services carry forwards.
Committee of the Whole.
We have the appointment of Spencer Lippert to the Planning Commission.
That'll be Development and Planning.
And the appointment of Leon Clark to the Michigan Avenue Corridor Improvement Authority.
Development and Planning.
And the appointment of Joseph Marudiak to the Michigan Avenue Corridor Improvement Authority.
Development and Planning.
Communications and petitions. We have a communication from Linda Sanchez Gazella in support of appointing Florencio Hernandez to the Board of Police Commissioners.
Place on file.
And from Richard Simtab, Dave Buch, and Louis M. Sesti opposing tenant relocation requirements.
Place on file.
We are to motion of excused absence.
Okay.
A motion to excuse Councilman Jackson.
Okay, we have a proper motion in place. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Okay, we are to remarks by council members.
Do we have any further remarks by council members? Seeing none, I would just quickly say, as we go into the public comment time, at the end of this, if we can please hold applause, cheers, things like that, so we can keep decorum in the audience and so folks can come up and share their opinion without feeling pressure. I would very much appreciate it. At the end, if you'd like to clap, you're more than welcome to.
Okay, we are to remarks by the mayor.
Mr. Mayor. Okay, nothing.
All right. Then we are to public comment. Speakers have up to 3 minutes. The first speaker is Emily Devendorf, followed by Teddy Hodge.
Hello. My name is Emily Devendorf. I live in downtown Lansing, and I'm here today as a resident, as chair of the Michigan Bicameral Legislative Poverty and Homelessness Caucus, and as the state representative for Michigan's 77th House District. First, I want to thank you for passing the tenant relocation policy. It truly, really should only impact our bad actors so that we can continue to encourage our good landlords, and we do have several of those as well. I have spent since 2006 working on issues related to housing and security in Michigan, and have spent the last few years leading on homeless rights, tenant rights, and affordable housing in Michigan. In that time, I've worked with the city of Lansing and housing advocates and homeless Michiganders statewide to shift the way we approach homelessness in Michigan. My statements from last week reads in part as follows. I understand that it is distressing to our neighbors to witness the public struggle that our homeless neighbors endure. It is even more distressing to be homeless. If we truly wish to end homelessness, the solution is not to hide homelessness from view. Rather, the proven solution is to move beyond our own discomfort and help our homeless neighbors. Because homelessness is not simple. Most residents of Lansing are one crisis away from homelessness. Homelessness can result from unemployment, PTSD, mental health struggles, discrimination in housing, addiction, domestic violence, and more. And many of these circumstances are both a cause and a symptom and make utilizing shelters traumatic for some. Clearing encampments does nothing to get to the root of homelessness. Best practices recommend wraparound services at the site of an encampment to get to the root of homelessness and create stability while we transition our neighbors to permanent housing. Seizing what few personal belongings our homeless neighbors carry, uprooting them on repeat, and breaking up the communities they have built only makes it harder to break the cycle of homelessness and build stability. Now, Lansing. I can't tell my beloved city what to do. It's not within my authority. And I recognize that city leaders have learned a lot about best practices related to homelessness and encampments and housing policy over the last few years. Yet I must ask you to do what we know is the right thing. I also want our unhoused neighbors to live in safe and sanitary conditions. I also want to encourage the transition into permanent housing. And the fastest way to do that is to meet folks where they are. I ask that Lansing pause plans to force our homeless neighbors off the land they currently occupy until or unless the city has designated a semi-permanent public space where our neighbors can go. I ask that a plan be developed for coordinating and empowering direct service organizations to resource encampments on a regular basis, connecting our neighbors to food, health, mental health, and other services that nurture stability while we connect our neighbors to housing. We can work together to keep the outdoor spaces safe and clean.
Thank you.
Can I have one more sentence?
I'm sorry. Your time is up. We have to keep to it for everybody. I appreciate you being here.
I appreciate it. Thank you for working to get to the root of homelessness.
Thank you. Next is Teddy Hodge, followed by Sean Brock.
Oh, sorry. I'm Teddy Hodge. I'm a social worker. I live in Lansing. I'm here to say I'm against the lawsuit the city filed targeting the businesses on 113W Michigan LLC and JAJ Property LLC to remove the encampment that y'all previously forced to move there. I worked in a homeless shelter for a year in the area. I have talked to people directly who are experiencing the homelessness crisis and have helped them move into housing in the past. There are a lot of issues that cause people to become homeless, and once they get stuck in that position, it's very difficult to come out. One of the things that I saw most often was we did not simply have enough beds in Lansing to house people. Like, our shelter system is beyond, has so many issues in it. And we're pushing people from one place to another without giving them a real solution to their crisis. One of the other issues I constantly saw was people need their ID, their social security card, and their birth certificates to either get a job or to get housing. When you're moving from place to place to place, you're constantly losing your important government documents that you need in order to escape the homelessness that you have fallen into. There's not a real solution to just move people out of the area without giving them access to services that they need to actually escape what causes homelessness to begin with. I can't tell you how many horrifying stories I have heard taking phone calls from people who say we need a place to live, and I have to be the one that says, sorry, we don't have a bed for you. I worked at one of the places where we helped families, and having to talk to somebody who was crying to me on the phone, a mother of 2, 3, 4 kids, saying, I need a place to stay. I have run out of every single other option. I have already asked my family members. I've already asked my friends. I've already asked my community members. People have no place to go. There are no options for people. I'm horrified about what I'm seeing in my community, and I would like you guys to please not do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Sean Brock, followed by Kaja Erickson.
Hi, I'm Sean Brock. I've been a resident of Lansing for 56 years. I'm opposed to this lawsuit against these landowners for this encampment. These people are our neighbors. They're not just somebody that we can throw away. When survival becomes against the law, we've lost it. These people are just trying to survive. I myself, up until 3 weeks ago, I was homeless. I was in a shelter. I was lucky enough that the shelter I was in could handle my medical equipment that I needed in there. A lot of times they can't. A lot of these people that can't get into the shelters have medical issues that the shelters will not or cannot take care of. So therefore, they end up having to be in these encampments outside. It's just unconscionable that we're trying to make homelessness a crime. Survival is it's just ridiculous that survival is to the point where it's becoming a crime to try to do it. I will cede the rest of my time, but I strongly wish that you would take into account that this is a severe problem, and we do know policies that can be put in place to fix these problems. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Kaja Erickson, followed by Kelsey Hector.
Good evening. My name is Khadijah Erickson, and I approach this council, but more specifically Mayor Andy Shore and City Attorney Greg Vechner, as a constituent and a resident on the north side of Lansing, very close to where this encampment is located. What you're doing with the lawsuit against these business owners is shameful. It's cowardly, and it is the exact opposite of leadership. For years, everyone in the city has known why the encampment exists. Lansing has failed to provide adequate and accessible shelter, housing, or even basic services. You've left human beings with nowhere else to go. And now, instead of taking responsibility for your own failures and those of your predecessors, you're trying to make two small business owners responsible for a situation you've allowed to fester. You refuse to collaborate. You refuse to meet with advocates. You refuse to treat the residents like people. And now, after years of inaction, you're hiding behind the courts. You're spending taxpayer money on a lawsuit that won't house a single person, won't make our community safer, and won't solve a thing. Mayor Shore, you want everyone else to look like a villain while you gallivant around this town, taking every photo opportunity available to you, polishing your image, which is a turd, by the way. But this charade won't fool anyone who is actually paying attention to you and your actions. City Attorney Vechner, you are enabling this political theater, weaponizing the legal system to serve the public good, which it's not. This is all about servicing Andy Shore's public image. Let's be honest, this lawsuit is not about the encampment, it's about optics. It's about blaming the nearest target, business owners who were abandoned by the city, led to believe that they would be worked with by the city, instead introduced to the lawsuit that the city would launch a few weeks ago. It is about clearing the problem off your desk during an election season and pretending it's progress. It is not, and neither is your responsibility. You cannot sue away a housing crisis, to be clear. You cannot litigate people out of existence. And you cannot pretend that this makes you a leader. You are a coward. Go ahead. You continue wasting taxpayer dollars, taxes I pay into as a homeowner on the north side. Keep scapegoating poverty-stricken people, people who are building community in a place that they've been forced into, told to go to by Lansing Police Department officers as they cleared them from other encampments throughout the city. I have no interest in working with an administration that is going to choose lawsuits over proven solutions that exist that have been given to you freely by advocates, state lawmakers, and mayors across this country. I remember you spending the time to call other mayors in this state to support the Homeless Bill of Rights, and yet here you are launching a lawsuit against business owners to scapegoat them for a problem you refuse to solve.
The next speaker is Kelsey Hector, followed by Daniel Arnold.
Please refrain from clapping. I do not like to be the bad cop in this. We need to maintain decorum in here. This is a business meeting. I appreciate all of you.
Hi, I think we all know what I'm up here to talk about. First, I would like to thank Trinity for actually coming to the encampment when everyone was invited. I think you are the only person that showed up to meet the residents that currently stay there, and so I really, really appreciate that. And I just want to talk about this from an organizational standpoint. And so when we have a large number of unhoused people in an area that we can access with resources, it makes it a lot easier to do a couple different things. One, to make sure that they get the medical treatment that they need. We work with organizations like MSU Street Team to make sure that we have professionals going into these places to meet people where they're at. We make sure to show up with harm reduction. We make sure to show up with, food. We do that every single day. We're out there doing that. And what happens when we displace people and continue to move them around, it gets kind of hard to find them. One perfect example is that there was an encampment, Perry Robinson by the Social Security office, and we had a resident there who was unhoused that was on the way to get housing. And what happened is when they were displaced, we can't find them. We have looked, they don't have a phone, right? We've looked in the places that we think that they might be, but unfortunately they may have missed an opportunity or continued to perpetuate their unhoused because we can't find them. And so really what we're looking at is for you to come to this moment with the urgency and care that it deserves. We know that this is not a long-term solution. These people actually need real transitional support and housing. And I'm hoping that you'll take us up on our request to have a meeting with you, Mayor Andy Shore, so that we can sit down and come to an actual agreement and not displace these people, because it's going to do more harm in the long run. It is going to cost the city a lot more money. I don't know if you know this, but we do get dollars to provide support for them. And when they get their stuff thrown away, we then have to do that all over again. And so I think that there's things that need to be considered here, and you're just not listening. And I hope that maybe you take a moment during your busy work week to take 5 seconds to go down there and talk to the residents, like Trini did, and see that they're just people. And 2-3 really, really bad months and no saving and no support, that could be you. So think about that. That could be your kids. That could be your mom, right? So meet this moment with what it deserves.
Thank you. Next is Daniel Arnold, followed by Shamara Lewis.
Good evening, beloved Lansing. This is Daniel Arnold, Facebook guy, smiley, living extravagantly downtown. Jesus Christ has blessed me with this local dream residence, and I get to share it with you. I love long walks on the river trail, connections with the homeless, walking through Michigan State Capitol like it's home. It has been some time since I've been assaulted in Lansing. I can't say Lansing's perfect, yet I do believe being around this irreplaceable community is a gift. Councilmember candidate Julie Vandeboom has always been kind to me, as many others. Dr. Jeffrey Brown has treated me like family, speaking vision into my life as I have him. Mayor Andy Shore, you have grown to become a thoughtful person who always celebrates seeing me. Your secretary, Veronica Heckey, makes you accessible almost all the time. I so appreciate it. I'm treated very well in the city of Lansing. Security, police are my mentors. Brian T. Jackson, council member, have always made an effort to honor me. I really look up to his athleticism. Adam Hussein, you carry yourself in such a humble servant manner that reflects on the council and in your classroom. Jeremy Garza, you are so happy to see me, and I appreciate that. Councilmember Ryan Cost, you continue to selflessly labor for our city in enormous ways. Your voice matters. Councilmember Trini, our talks are meaningful. I appreciate seeing your involvement in standing for those who are vulnerable. Chris Swope, you've always been a consistent servant to our city for many years. I enjoy running into you. I like hearing Loretta Stanaway unabashedly share her passion, including the necessity of cemeteries. David Ellis, you really care about the little details. You are a key to our city. Nicholas Zandy, you pour out your heart to the Lansing no matter what. Jody Washington, you are an avid extension of our city hall who never stops caring. I also feel a deep connection to our Lansing Police Department Chief Robert Backus. He cares about our region and honoring heroes. He has become a great friend. Over the years, our connections to Lansing are in you. Some of you have been there through my severe mental illness as I unloaded on the whole city in a meeting like this. My disasters have become my backstory. I'm a presenter on the intersection of faith, mental health, and public safety advocacy with a bachelor's degree in elementary ed, 19 books written. I look forward to more opportunities to speak as the Lord brings them, possibly through you. I'm open to any venue, including school systems, colleges, shelters. There's no limit. That's how big our God is. He has given me you to live with and celebrate every minute. There have been difficulties, but today is the best day ever so far. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next is Shamara Lewis, followed by Vivian Breslin.
Hello, good evening, council members. My name is Shamara Lewis. I'm here to address the Sycamore Townhome crisis that has been going on for 3 months. We've been told many things. We've been jumped through hoops. They said resources was available for us, funding was available for us, but yet we've seen none of it. And we're doing exactly what these people here are fighting for. We're fighting not to be homeless. We're trying not to, but we're still facing homelessness. And all the help that we were promised, we've seen none of this yet. So I'm just asking the city council, please, release the help to us that we were told to be helped. We've been denied by DHS, where we were told to go for help, for relocation. And I just want to clarify, I keep hearing everyone saying John Polderman is giving you guys funding. No, he is not. He hasn't gave us 1 penny and is not giving us 1 penny until we move out. And then after we move out, we still have to wait 30 days to receive anything from him. And the residents that have left already, some that we have already spoke to that's been gone for a month or two, still have not received what he said he was going to give us. I ask that you guys please do what needs to be done here for all of the residents and all these people. They all are fighting to not be homeless. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Vivian Breslin, followed by Oliver Stroud.
Good evening, council members. My name is Vivian, and I'm here to speak on behalf of the nearly 40 residents who are now facing displacement due to a lawsuit from the city. I've worked firsthand in this area, and I have met the people who live there, and I've seen firsthand that they have built a community and that they have created a mutual support network that even in the face of hardship, they've done their best to deal with the situation that they have. These people are members of our city. They deserve dignity and safety and respect. And yet, they are being told to leave because of a situation that the city is not willing to participate and collaborate in. We have community organizations that are working to help them regularly, but you will not come to the table. Humanity is not how this is being handled. The response has been legal threats of forced removal. This city has openly admitted that it lacks shelter space, has acknowledged a need for a permitted encampment, but instead of creating those solutions, you're pushing people out with nowhere to go. What does that say about our priorities as a city? You cannot understand a community by reading about it or seeing a report. You have to show up and listen. And if you're unwilling to do that, how can you make just decisions about their futures? Removing this encampment does not end the homelessness. It just hides it and makes it harder to deal with. It makes it harder for those people to access services and strips away what little stability they've been able to build for themselves. It sends a message that the appearance is much more important than the human life. I am asking you to stop this displacement and work with community members who are already doing what the city has failed to do and provide support. And most importantly, follow through on your own priorities that you say you have. You have the power to do the right thing right now, and we are watching to see if you use it.
Thank you. Next is Oliver Stroud, followed by Mindy Corbell.
All right. First off, I want to ask my community members behind me to breathe in and help me through this, because this means more to me than you can imagine. My name is Olivier Stroud. I was born here in Lansing, Michigan. I work at Michigan State University with the College of Human Medicine. My entrance into adulthood in 2020 was a slap in the face with the reality of homelessness. My city, my home, the government of Lansing offered me no help. There was not a single spot open for me at a shelter anywhere in Michigan. So I never even got to ask the question after that. Could my city even provide a safe place for a young trans person? Instead, I saw my local government terrorizing vulnerable people. At encampments, my neighbors were constantly harassed by public officials despite being on private property of a kind local businessman. Firefighters putting out only sources of heat in the middle of winter, cops shooting tents, representatives lying to communities about their rights. Around campfires, I heard stories and experience of my elders. With cold and aching bodies, they told me it was even worse if you made it inside. I heard retired veterans sleeping in chairs because they were not provided beds. This twisted their already tired bodies. I heard stories of queer families being separated and divided amongst what was tolerable to the religious point of view of the shelter. How a deaf mother was removed from her wife and children with no way to communicate to those around her because she dared to love. That those inside were quick to fall ill with facilities running rampant with COVID. I watched with eyes of a fresh adult as every election came around my neighbors. Those who truly had my back were rounded up and shipped off to cities with no concern for the reality of their individual humanity. Homelessness. Homeless people are not an eyesore. They are not a political pawn for you to make yourself feel better. They are an active, objective reminder that you are failing the residents of Lansing, Andy Shore. And it is disgusting that you would rather further villainize and target vulnerable populations rather than to accept the existence of your inadequacy. The camp you are targeting is full of working class people on land they are allowed to be on. How many more years of my life do I need to wait for you to use the money of the working class people to take care of us? Stop this lawsuit. Uplift vulnerable populations. This is your job.
Thank you. Next is Mandy Caparel, followed by Dana Malone White.
Hello, everybody. So my name is Mindy. I'm a single mom. I live here in Lansing. I've lived here for about 3 years. I love walking the river trail, and I have seen in the 3 years that I've lived here the homeless population grow and grow and grow, and I have not seen any solutions. Being a single mom, I'm always aware that I'm one illness or a few paychecks away from being homeless myself. I try to imagine how it would feel knowing that the city that I live in is about to sue me to leave and has offered no solution and doesn't seem to care what's going to happen to me. Breaks my heart. You guys can't control the homeless population completely, but you have control over things like trash cans. You have control over kind words. And you have control over making the city feel safe and making the city feel like we are all human beings who care about one another. That is something that you have not been able to do for this city. It's not just about the encampment, it's about the residents of Sycamore. It's about the renters in houses and the slumlords that they are slaves to. It's about the growing population that lives along the river trail. The way you have treated the unhoused in this city will be felt by all of us, and it is completely irresponsible. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Dana Malone White, followed by Nicholas Zandy.
Hello, my name is Dana Malone White, and I am here to speak against the lawsuit against our unhoused neighbors. So many other individuals have spoken eloquently about the harm that will occur if this encampment is cleared and our insufficient shelter resources, especially for our trans community members. I want to add my voice to echo the messages that have already been shared and urge you to act on their pleas for humanity and justice. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Nicholas Zandy, followed by Loretta Stanaway.
So I'm going to be speaking directly about Farhan Omar and the fact that you're not reappointing him for the Board of Police Commissioners for the First Ward position. Now, I've said what I've had to say about him not being reappointed and how the mayor should not be given so much power over such a board. However, I believe this does sort of tie into the homelessness lawsuit that you've gotten yourself into by suing a private business owner over, which, by the way, I am not in favor of private market solutions to anything, including homelessness. However, going after an individual business owner just because they happen to be housing the unhoused is absolutely infuriating, especially since the police department has been driving away homeless people from their encampments and confiscating a lot of their properties with it. And reason why I believe that this whole thing with Farhan does probably tie with this, because he's actually been an advocate for the unhoused. And so by not having him on the board, well, now you're losing a community advocate for the unhoused who has been an uplifting voice for marginalized communities. That is so infuriating that not only are you trying to silence a business owner, but you're also silencing a board member of the police commission. That is just straight up wrong and just shows that you're clearly obeying an oligarchical tyrant named Donald Trump in advance. That is absolutely wrong. And the first thing you should know about dictatorships is never obey in advance, regardless of their ideology. Communist, fascist, or oligarchical, or monarchist. Those are all types of dictators you should never obey, especially not in advance. Because there is the off chance Trump does go full dictator and decides to, and pardon my language, exterminate the unhoused. Something that you're probably going to be contributing to by either getting out of the way and not doing anything about it, or just actively participating in it. And right now it seems you're actively participating in that slowly. That is absolutely wrong, and I don't know if you deserve to be reelected after doing something like this. That is all I'm going to say, and I'll yield the rest of my time, because what the heck, Andy?
Thank you. Next is Loretta Standaway, followed by Deeldra Howard.
Again, a change of topic, if you will. As a city, our first and most important responsibility is to provide for the safety and welfare of our public. We are failing to do that. And regardless of the homeless situation, which I'm not going to get into, we have seen another 2 shootings this weekend. There were 2 stabbings. I don't know that they made the media or not, but there were 2 stabbings along with the 2 shootings. And we have reached a point where we can no longer afford as a city to take the status quo. It is time for us to get off our butts and to act and to be innovative and to be exploring different approaches, because what we are doing is not working. We don't have enough police. We don't have enough fire. They're getting burned out. They're at risk of hurting themselves. They're at risk of not being able to save the people they go to serve. We need to look at our budget starting today, tomorrow, this month, not next fall, next year. We need to start looking now at our 2026 budget, and we need to take a new approach. And I suggest that that approach is what I've mentioned before, which is to focus on police, fire, parks and rec, public service, and exclusively fund those at 100% of best practices before anything else in any other department gets funded. We need to put our focus back on our priorities. We don't need sister cities. We don't need facade improvements. We need firefighters. We need police officers. We need public service out there citing code compliance issues. So I am suggesting that we start now with line item reviews of every department's budget, and that the best practices be funded before anything else gets funded. And we have to start looking at innovative approaches to dealing with other issues. We could go to probationary hires for police and fire, where there's such a long lag between an application and a job offer. We could go to medical taxis. We could go to reserve police officers. There are options and innovations out there, and we need to start finding them, looking at them, seriously considering them, finding ways to say yes instead of finding ways to say, oh, no, we can't do that. It doesn't work. We haven't done it before, and nobody else is doing it. Well, guess what? Other people are doing it, and it does work. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Deeldra Howard, followed by David Ellis.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Deeldra Howard from Sycamore Townhomes. First of all, I would like to thank you, Jeffrey, Tamara, Ryan and Adam, thank y'all for taking the time out to come and to listen to some of our stories at Sycamore. Garza, I voted for you. I was expecting to see you out there. You pick and choose to where you want to come to. Now to the mayor and to the city attorney. Why I haven't got my sit down with you guys? You keep talking about having Riley do your work. Why you can't do your work? I'd have been in your office asking for a sit down with you, the mayor. I'd have been in your office asking to sit down with you, the city attorney. Y'all told us we supposed to have all this help. Where is the help? There's no help. Write the check. We just want our money. The city attorney, you got the power. Cut us the check. We don't want to be out there with looking at boards. We want to be gone. Or before we be in the same predicament as the incompetent, which is sad. Y'all don't want all these homeless people. I've been homeless before. It's not cool at all. Andy, you can go to all these different things. You was 5 minutes away from Sycamore Townhomes, and you couldn't take 5 minutes out to come listen to our stories. But I voted for you. I voted for you, Garza, and I voted for you, city attorney. But I didn't see none of y'all. We got 5 minutes, but y'all can go to other people's campaigns and listen to their stories, but y'all can't hear these people's stories who's about to get kicked out of their homes, who we have no control of, but y'all got the power and the money to help us, and y'all won't give it to us. Cut us our damn checks.
Thank you. Next is David Ellis, followed by Maddie Elliott.
Hi, David Ellis, downtown Lansing resident. So I'm here today to speak about the clearing of the encampment. So I could start off by reading poetry. I could be like really pretty about it. Give me your poor, you're tired, you're poor, your huddled masses, yearning to breathe free, the wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest tossed to me. I lift my lamp besides the golden door. That doesn't mean any. You know, I had to use sick time to be here. The least you could do is, it's only 3 minutes, man, come on, please. If that doesn't mean anything, obviously speaking with any of the homeless people who are going to be moved off of this isn't going to mean anything. I could talk about history and talk about how there used to not be private property here and you used to be free to live wherever you please on the land before it was colonized. That doesn't mean anything. Well, let's talk about the end goal here. What's the game here? So this isn't the first encampment that we've cleared. And what happened last time? You've heard before. They were scrambled. They lost access to help. They lost access to resources and to people they were communicating with. And then they moved to a new location. And now we're here again and again and again. So what's the future past this? So are we going to be seeing encampments being cleared during the winter time, and so they're going to be kicked out into the cold, where there's going to be people freezing to death once again year after year, because we live in a state where I guess that is in a cruel sort of way a solution to the homeless problem. So if that is your solution to the homeless problem is to wait till winter, then let that be on your conscience. So this is such an easy win for you. This is such a simple, don't do the thing you're doing. If there's issues with sanitation, rent a Daggett, rent a dumpster for people to clean up trash and put it in. Take some city land and have them clear out the brush and give them an open space. This is literally the bare minimum you can do. If you look in history books at Central Park during the Great Depression in New York City, they had tents set up just the same. How is this any different? Just give them a place. That is quite literally the bare minimum you can do, is accept that people have to exist somewhere. You're accepting like geometry, the fact that physical objects exist. Things have to permeate in a place. I can't express how disgusted I am with this. I talk a lot at these meetings, and this is by far, this is atrocious. This is, I mean, you will rot in hell with these actions.
Thank you. Next is Maddie Elliott, followed by Nick Finch.
Hi there. I'm Maddie Elliott. I am an Old Town resident who lives very close to the Dietrich Park encampment. And first, I wanted to share my support for the tenants at Sycamore Townhomes. I would urge you to stop withholding the compensation that they're entitled to provide them with what is necessary for them to pay for security deposit, first month rent. Do you really want the single mom here, the other folks who talked today, to be homeless? Because you could easily provide them with the compensation that they need, the intermediate steps of housing, so that they're not homeless. I also am very concerned about how your actions are putting my unhoused neighbors who live in Dietrich Park in harm's way. My neighbors, houses or not, deserve to be treated with human dignity. The city's lawsuit against businesses near the Dietrich Park encampment is a cowardly way for the city to avoid bad press for your ultimate goal, which is to displace our unhoused neighbors who have found community and support in the encampment. Your lawsuit, which is part of your plan to sweep the camp, gives the impression that as a city you don't want to support unhoused people, you want to disappear them. Where are they supposed to go? Most residents in Lansing are one emergency away from losing their housing, so how you are treating them is how you would treat me if I came on hard times. Sweeping homeless encampments strips unhoused people of their few belongings, including driver's license, birth certificates, and other essential documents, and most unhoused people do not have the funds or the transportation to get their seized property back. Stealing the few meager belongings is a bad look, and it's immoral. I know that you, Mayor Shore, and multiple council members have expressed support for implementing a sanctioned homeless encampment with outhouses and caseworkers to support unhoused people in finding housing and gaining stability. And I would urge you to put your money where your mouth is and make this your top priority. I wonder if you, the city council, somehow forgot that you approved permits for 3 mobile health units to do outreach at the Dietrich Park encampment that you're now trying to sweep. Or that city officials have admitted that the city does not have enough accessible shelter beds. I reiterate, where are they supposed to go? If a person who loses their housing can't even exist in an out-of-the-way section of Dietrich Park, I've walked in that section, in that park many times. I never knew the camp was there until I went to help clean up some of the trash. So, the least that you can do is support those folks.
Thank you. Next is Nick Finch, followed by Kyle Richard.
Wow, you got a packed out house. It seems like Lansing can agree on something. In opposition to you, Andy Shore. I'm Nick Finch. I've been in the First Ward since forever. Happy to have a space to speak to you guys about this important issue. You know homelessness is an issue. You know the housing crisis is causing more and more of us to be unhoused every year because wages are not keeping up with housing costs. And this is just a reality. It's heartbreaking. And we're doing all that we can to stay connected with the folks who are still in housing and the folks who are in and out of housing and the folks who are chronically unhoused. And it's really hard. And Parks and Recs make sure that nobody gets to live in these parks that we all pay for. And so people are finding out-of-the-way places to create a life. And I'm sure that some of you have been to this encampment in Dietrich. Like, people have spent so much time and money and effort to creating an infrastructure where they can live. And living creates a lot of waste when you don't have built-in running water and a refrigerator and a microwave, right? Like when you have to eat individually packaged foods and clean yourself with baby wipes, right? Trash is created. This is just a reality. And when the city will not allow for the trash to be removed, it will build up. This is common sense, right? There are people who have used their private property to say, okay, I will do the job that the city is not doing to hold space for people to create a place to live safely. They did that in spite of y'all not doing your jobs. And now you are taking them to court and suing them for filling in the gaps that need to be filled? What is going to happen? Right? Number one, not that I really care about this, but what is the precedent of the city suing property owners for what they do on their land? That doesn't seem like something that y'all would like. But number two, what is going to happen to human lives and these families that have formed and created once they are evicted in this out-of-the-way place where they've been able to build up infrastructure, right? You don't want them in your face, do you? So you're not creating solutions. You're just undermining the ones that have been created in the vacuum of you guys doing your job. Please stop. Thank you. I'll cede my time.
Thank you. Next is Kyle Richard, followed by Joanne Galloway.
Good evening, y'all. Kyle Richard, 4th Ward. More power to the tenants at Sycamore. Let's get them their checks. I know I was hauling a dresser up 3 floors at Capitol Commons to help get people out of Sycamore, and so if they could get their checks, that'd be great. I'm here tonight to speak on the lawsuit against the encampment, and I was sort of just sitting down like, how do I describe this? And a few words I came up with were depraved, unhinged, soulless, absent of regard for human life, a waste of taxpayer dollars and personnel hours, and a destabilizing force in our city. The stable thing to do would be to leave people where they're at. The destabilizing thing to do would be to throw people in the street. And so, I really want to draw the distinction between proactive action and reactive action. This is a reactive action. This is the city saying, oh, we weren't proactive enough, and so now we have to react. We need to get rid of this mess, so to speak. But people aren't a mess, and human beings aren't a mess. And when you go to court and you're asked, you cite the trash, were you a cooperative partner on the trash? What is the city of Lansing going to say? When the city cites, people aren't disposing of needles properly, and you're asked in court, are you a cooperative partner on that? What is the city going to say? The city needs to be a proactive and collaborative partner in this issue. We're facing an economic crisis, a housing crisis that we have not experienced in our lifetimes, none of us. And so, please change your ways, because this is a dark road that you've chosen to go down. Thank you.
Thank you. Next is Joanne Galloway, followed by Darren.
Good evening. I'm Joanne Galloway, a fairly new resident here in the city of Lansing, and I am here to speak and represent my unhoused neighbors. I first want to say that I am super proud of the work that's being done by the Rent is Too Darn High and the Mid-Michigan Tenant Resource Center. These right here behind me in the red shirts, please pretend I have one on too. They are future leaders of this city. They are learning how to organize, they're learning how to work with partner organizations, they're learning how to write incredible documents, and they're going places. And for that, I'm very excited for our future. I do want to thank the council for the amendments that you passed this evening supporting tenants and the relocation fee. I think that's really a step in the right direction, so I was excited to see that. I didn't realize it was on the agenda tonight, or I might have spoke about it earlier. But then I want to speak with Mayor Shore and with the city attorney. And I was really, really disappointed to hear about the lawsuit. I love the river trail in the city. I ride my bike on the river trail on a regular basis. I've been watching, and I've been seeing that you've been moving encampments quietly. Those haven't been spoken about here tonight, but I see the sneakiness, and I don't like it. I remember being here when the shelter from across from the Capital City Market was getting approval for their new property. And they mentioned they were going to keep their old property over there across from the Capital City Market, but use it for another use. Strange. All of a sudden now they're not using it for another use. They're selling it to an investor, which I'm not saying is completely bad, but geez, could we be upfront about things? I really don't like liars. I spent a little bit of time in Florida. I was pretty disappointed watching their political work in the last year, seeing how they are starting to criminalize the unhoused neighbors in Florida. We're not Florida. But to think that we're we started movement in this city of Lansing before President Trump's order last week was shocking to me. And I'll be the first one to phrase it, say it, and name it. We cannot be pre-complying with this federal administration. I urge you to drop the lawsuit. I urge you to meet with the leaders in this community that are trying to find solutions for our unhoused neighbors and work with them. We need to have a committee here that is working on housing our neighbors. We need to invest in accessible shelter and housing options. We need to work on having some type of a semi-permanent public space. I think it's absolutely crazy that I can wake up in the morning and there's a deer in my yard, and that's okay. But if it happened to be a human,
Thank you.
we're gonna move them.
Thank you. Next is Darren, followed by Jody Washington.
I wasn't expecting to make it today, so I'm just gonna wing this. I own my house outright in Ryan Cost's district. I paid my property taxes the first day that they were available online. I have been with Punks with Lunch since I first moved here in January, and I visit the Detroit camp anywhere between 2 and 6 times a month. They are good-humored, hardworking, delightful people. They love playing board games and horseshoes. They are a beautiful community, and I feel safer in this encampment than I do walking around downtown Lansing. Getting personal, I was homeless for 4 years, 2005 to 2009, both in Ypsilanti and in San Francisco. When I say that the cruelty of Andy Shore's Lansing for people who are impoverished and homeless is just nightmare fuel for me, I'm not kidding. I don't know what you're thinking or what you're doing, but you are our government. It is your job to help the people in your community to thrive. And I think I speak for everyone behind me when I say that we are invested in everyone in our community thriving. Everyone. So, watching my tax money on every single level of government being used to torture, traumatize, and murder people, which, bear in mind, camping sweeps guarantees a spike in deaths. You are killing us. You want us dead. Do your job, work with us, find real solutions to help these people advance. Cede my time.
Thank you. Next is Jody Washington, followed by Michael Gorishak.
Jody Washington, East Side. Today, I stand before you to speak about 2 pillars that uphold any truly free society: free speech and transparency. I'm talking to you too, Peter. Free speech is more than just the right to speak. It's the right to think freely, to question authority, and to engage in honest public dialogue. It's the foundation of democracy and justice. When it's protected, societies thrive, ideas improve, accountability strengthens, and truth rises to the surface. But when free speech is suppressed, when transparency disappears, history has shown us what follows: fear, stagnation, and authoritarianism. I'm not here to make a polite request. I'm here to make a demand for honesty, for accountability, and for the democratic values that all of you were elected to uphold. And those values you have all failed. We've seen dissent silenced, public questions ignored, decisions made in back rooms instead of in front of the people, but nothing has made your disregard for transparency and independent voices clearer than what you did regarding Farhan Omar. Let's speak the truth. You did not refuse to reappoint Mr. Omar because he was unqualified or irresponsible. You removed him because he challenged power, because he asked tough questions, and because he refused to stay quiet. And for that, you retaliated, not with debate, but with baseless accusations and character attacks. You pushed aside a principled leader to install someone you believe will stay quiet and toe the line. That's not leadership, that's manipulation. Let's be clear. You don't want independent voices on the police commission or anywhere else. You want puppets. And by doing this, you've sent a message to the entire community. If you speak too loudly or think too critically, you will be punished. Mayor Shore, council members, you are eroding the public trust. Silencing one man doesn't just quiet his voice, it silences an entire community that sees themselves in him. Let me remind you, while you may control the microphones in this room, you do not control the voices of this city. We are watching, we are organizing, we are preparing, and we will be heard in 2 years during your elections. You can restore transparency, you can respect dissent, and step aside, and if you don't want to, step aside and make room for those that will.
Thank you. Next is Michael Gorshek, followed by Matt T.
Thank you so much, Councilperson Palavangu, for coming out to Dietrich. You met Almina, Chad, Terry, and Jennifer, who are the unhoused folks there who, their health conditions preclude them from going into a shelter. And through hard work, got the Ingham County Health Department going out there so they can get actual care. And if places like this are terminated, how are we going to find them? How are they going to get this help? How are they going to get the services they need? In May, 50 volunteers came out to the park in Dietrich, and we, as a community, cleaned a camp that was destroyed and abandoned by the city. And we, as a community, put the trash in garbage bags, and we put it out to where the city could get it, and it was disposed of. And our plan was to also put in contractor bags the trash at Dietrich. And we were told that that trash would not be accepted. So I compel you to use your powers and influence to open up trash removal in contractor bag garbage from the camp so that can be removed. Would also, if we could set up some kind of, while this litigation's going on, some kind of trash removal so that folks can live without, have some semblance of humanity there. Would really appreciate it. Thank you also for listening. And thank you again for coming out. One of the people we partnered with was the Michigan Waterway Stewards. They've been doing great work around the city, but as they do that, they're folks who are living in those places are displaced and they end up in Dietrich. There's a responsibility there to help those folks. So, thank you.
Thank you. Next is Matt T., followed by Ariel Cushman.
Good evening. I am also here to speak on the lawsuit and proposed clearing of the area that currently has the Dietrich homeless encampment. The role of Lansing's government at any level is to try to not only work with the needs of the city's people, but to provide solutions and aid in order to strengthen the city. To completely eradicate the Dietrich unhoused encampment would to be not only to neglect the needs of the people of this city, but to irresponsibly take action without any concrete, immediately tangible solutions. To see a problem and not to propose and materialize a solution before taking action does not create a positive, impactful change. All it does is make it so those who need the most assistance fail to get it. Other cities have offered solutions to aiding unhoused or low-income individuals, and while this is not a cohesive list, these are possible options. Washington, D.C. began diversifying its services in 2019 when it opened its downtown day center and the Hope Has a Home Medical Respite Center. Broughton said the downtown day center is a one-stop shop for people seeking services. People experiencing homelessness can access low-barrier shelter, laundry services, phone chargers, and computers, among other services to meet their daily needs. Newark, New Jersey has added about 220 units of temporary housing for people experiencing homelessness. 20 of the units came from newly constructed housing units at Come As You Are, a bridge housing community of converted shipping containers. Raleigh, North Carolina launched a $5 million initiative called Bringing Neighbors Home to connect unhoused people with housing opportunities. This is not a full list, but all this to say, if other cities have taken action to support their unhoused communities, there is no good reason for Lansing to be an exception. I yield my time.
Thank you. Next is Ariel Cushman.
Hello. I am a resident of Dietrich Encampment. I want you guys to look at me when I say that, because this is disgraceful. The property owners have helped us more than the city of Lansing has. I was there from the beginning when it was only 13 people in the camp. I was there when the city came out and told me after I told them that I was a victim of domestic violence, that I would have to be displaced again. Because I came to this city for protection and to be with my family. My father, in 2017, lived in those woods and built structures and did his art in those woods, and the city of Lansing bulldozed his artwork. Almost every person in that camp is disabled. There are cancer patients that have been turned away from shelters in the camp. I, a homeless person, helped coordinate cleanups. I have helped coordinate resources more than even the things that are being paid for by taxpayer dollars. Why are you going to put your lack of care for my life and my family's life onto property owners and small businesses that are feeding this economy? The city also released incorrect statements about Dietrich, saying that we banned resources from being there. No, we were told that you cut funding from some of the best resources we have, which is Path Outreach. That's what we were told. According to the main founder, Tammy Sterling, we were told that there were supposed to be medical units brought. We were told that we were promised dumpsters. My people have cleaned. I know someone who lost over 100 pounds because every day and night, when it first got warm enough for us to start cleaning, he lost all his weight cleaning up the camp. We will do the work ourselves if you give us the dumpsters. If you help us, we will do the work ourselves. We've built structures. My father came out there and helped me build a structure. I almost watched my friends lose limbs and their life over the winter during the Arctic blast, where I took it upon myself to coordinate funding to help pay for heating. They bring up the fires. Those fires are due straight up to a lack of the fire department or anyone helping us get things like fire extinguishers. We had 2 fire extinguishers and they've both been used. I personally called the fire department to see if there was a resource. Help us.
Thank you.
Instead of sweep us.
Thank you. That was our final speaker.
We are adjourned at 9:23.